Welcome to the NTN Nightly. I'm Misha Charles. This edition's top stories. More development coming to the south of the island as government breaks ground for the Canales Resort. Early childhood development takes center stage as government rolls out a project in Jacmel, and Saint Lucia prepares for Independence 41. The government of Saint Lucia is continuing to fulfill its promise of progress and development for all parts of Saint Lucia. This as government broke ground for the Canales Resort in Miku on Wednesday. The resort boasts of two brands, Dreams and Zoetry, plus Canales oceanfront apartments. The development forms part of the administration's thrust to increase the island's hotel room stock and to narrow the social and economic gap between rural and urban communities. Anissa Antoine report.
Saint Lucia will soon be home to the Canales Resort, being developed by Caribbean Galaxy Real Estate. The Canales Resort will consist of two luxury-branded all-inclusive resorts, together with resort residencies and amenities. The two resorts, Dreams and Zoetry, are well-established and respected hotel brands operated by AM Resorts. At the groundbreaking ceremony, Zhang Tang, Vice President of Galaxy Group, explained the layout of the resort.
Dreams Resort and Spa offers high level of luxury for couples and couples with children in ideal beachfront setting. Anse Canals will feature a 163,000 square feet Dreams Resort comprised of 250 rooms. Zoetry Wellness Spa Resort offers unrivaled luxury and holistic wellness for adults only. Anse Canals will feature a 17,000 square feet Zoetry Resort comprised of an 80-room hotel. The residence at Anse Canals feature condominiums totaling 380 rooms located in the 17th building on the site.
The site, which was earmarked for tourism development since 2007, was marketed by Invest Saint Lucia as a potential tourism opportunity for investment in Saint Lucia. The Caribbean Galaxy Group Real Estate Limited secured the site and worked with the Citizenship by Investment Unit to approve the project under the CIP. Roderick Cherry is the Chief Executive Officer of Invest Saint Lucia.
The time frame between when a developer shows interest in your opportunities and the beginning of the project averages anywhere from 2 to 7 years, and that is a global figure. It is therefore quite an achievement that after less than 2 years of indication of interest from the developers, that we are now here signing the beginning of this project. This is testament to the hard work of Invest Saint Lucia staff, management, board, the government. It also is as a result of the hard work of the agencies that we depend on, that we are partners with in the development of our country.
Prime Minister of Saint Lucia, Honorable Alan Chasney, spoke on the impact the potential development will have on Saint Lucia's economy.
I would like to think that investments like this and other investments that are going to be taking place around the country, this is the same level of detail that we're getting involved in, into making sure that we can stand on a podium and saying to you that this is a sustainable development, that we can say to you that this is a development that we can support, and that we can say to you that the people will be given access and the ability to be able to benefit from these kinds of investments, because ultimately it has to be for all. So for me as a Prime Minister, I'm looking at the country. For me as the Minister of Finance, I'm looking at the expenses of the country, and more importantly for me as a district rep along with Gail, we are so proud and so happy to be able to have this development.
Minister for Commerce, International Trade, Investment, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs, Honorable Bradley Felix, says currently over US $1.5 billion in foreign direct investment is committed to Saint Lucia over the next 2 years. Minister Felix congratulated Invest Saint Lucia on their continuous efforts in developing Saint Lucia.
This is the fruit of visionary leadership, hard work, time, policy making, bold partnership, and extensive promotion and research. On that front, Invest Saint Lucia, along with the Citizen by Investment Unit, need to be congratulated for putting in the hard work behind the scenes. We are ready, able and willing to ensure that we attract the best, the brightest, the most ethical and ecologically conscious investors to our shores.
The Canales Resort groundbreaking ceremony took place on Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Early childhood education remains a top priority for the government of Saint Lucia. After 3 years of assessments, it was realized that the community of Jacmel was in dire need of an early childhood learning center. Parents were unable to find educational facilities to place their children, and with this in mind, the government of Saint Lucia and the Saint Lucia Social Development Fund, the SSDF, sought to remedy the issue. Consultant from the Caribbean Consulting Engineers Limited, Neil Williams, who will oversee the project, explained that the center will be able to house 60 children ranging from ages 6 months to 5 years. The center will consist of 4 classrooms and 1 nursery.
The facility is a complete facility built to standards that will also facilitate things like principal's office, staff room, kitchen, full toilet facilities for both students and staff, and furniture, specialized furniture that will accommodate that type of a center.
The center will be situated on approximately 6,000 square feet of land and will employ an estimated 7 staff members, including the principal. The project is expected to be completed over an 8-month period and is funded jointly by the government of Saint Lucia and the Caribbean Development Bank through the Basic Needs Trust Fund at a ratio of 5% and 95% respectively. Minister for Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, Honorable Leonard Montoute, highlighting the necessity of such a center, expressed gratitude to the CDB for its contribution to the development of Saint Lucia. He noted that parents will now have a safe and secure place to leave their children while pursuing their livelihood.
I just want to echo the sentiments that have already been expressed in thanking the CDB for providing the bulk of the funding for this project. As you were told, CDB will be providing some 95% and the counterpart funding from government will be 5%. Overall, over $1.7 million will be spent on that project, and I'm sure my colleague, the parliamentary representative for Ancillary Canales, who is unfortunately unable to be here today, Honorable Dominic Faley, is very elated to usher in this project, which should be completed, I think, in the space of about 8 months. And so, before the end of this year, we will have this project up and running.
The center will be constructed in accordance with the Green Schools Initiative.
And this center will be housing 6 classrooms for 7 staff members. We'll have an outdoor playground for the children. But I think very importantly as well, consistent with the Green School Initiative, we will ensure that we put facilities in place for rainwater harvesting, and as well a solar photovoltaic system will be put in place with backup batteries to minimize the use of electricity from fossil fuel, and of course to save cost in terms of the bills that will be incurred from the use of energy. So I think that is very significant, that is very important, and in the right direction in which to go.
Following the tendering process, George Elize and Model Homes Limited were selected as the contractors for the Early Childhood Learning Center. The contract was signed on Wednesday, January 15, 2020. Preparations are underway for St. Lucia's 41st Independence celebrations, which will be held under the theme, "Now is the time, let's do this together." The launch of activities took place at the NTN studios on Wednesday. Minister with responsibility for culture and creative industries, Senator Honorable Fortuna Belrose, says this year's theme calls St. Lucians to action and is an extension of Independence 40.
This theme is a natural flow, like I was saying, from 2019. We are indeed mobilized, and we all are mobilized And more importantly, we are ready for action. We must now move, and we must do so together so that we can achieve the heights that we want ourselves and our country to achieve. In the last year, we collectively experienced a measure of deliverance. You know, we have persevered, we have toiled, and we have invested. We have learned, and we are reaping the rewards for all to see. So now is the time for us to work together to continue to build Saint Lucia. Now is the time for us to continue to foster the development of our artists, Madam Chair. Now is the time for us to embrace each other's uniqueness, because we are all different, but we want the same thing, so we need to work together. Let us continue to separate the right from the wrong. We've been doing a good job of it so far as a nation, and I think we need to continue in that vein.
Celebrations begin in February with a gospel concert, Mr. Independence Show, and Legacy Calypso Show. Chairperson of the Independence 41 Planning Committee, Honorable Janine Girodi McIntyre, called on the citizenry to participate in the various activities which make up this year's celebration.
Strides of unity will be put on by the youth. That is precious to us because it is the best way that we get into the community. And the community comes out, and so it is great advertising for most of our events. Then we move on to Miss Independence. As usual, a staple of our independence activities. Then we have the Independence Horse Race. Of course, that's new, and there will be an Independence Cup. We have Plebel Kai Commercial competition, and we will deliver the winner at the end of the month, as well as for the 40th, because the 40th ended in December, and we've not closed off just yet. We have the Independence Youth Debate as usual, and I am not allowed to say what the topic is, so you can all tune in to hear them. It will be a little different this year.
Other activities include the Independence Creole Debate, the Independence Walk, Best of Saint Lucia Concert, and the National Independence Day Parade. President of the National Youth Council, Nias Alfred, says the organization's role this year is to inculcate a sense of pride and unity among the youth.
The first of our activities is the National Photography Contest, where we hope to engage many talented photographers in Saint Lucia. Photographers will be asked to submit images that will be judged under 2 categories. The first category will be images that demonstrate the theme for this year's independence, and the second for images that show the spirit of Saint Lucia, exquisitely, if you may. Deadline for submission of images is February the 24th, 2020. The winner of each of the categories will receive a cash prize of $2,500. We will also look to work with the Saint Lucia Tourism Authority to use some of these images as part of the entity's destination marketing efforts.
Other youth activities include the Independence National Youth Parliament, which takes place on February 18 under the theme, The New Faces of Democracy. And this is the NTN Nightly. We'll be right back.
Small household electrical appliances, when faulty, can give rise to big problems. If you have just purchased a small appliance from a store and you are concerned about the safety of the item, or an appliance has been at home for some time subjected to wear and tear from regular usage, have it tested by the Saint Lucia Bureau of Standards. It is better to be safe than sorry.
For more information, contact the Saint Lucia Bureau of Standards at 456-0546 or email slbs@candw.lc or visit the website at www.slbs.org.lc. Saint Lucia Bureau of Standards, making quality and standards our way of life.
Welcome back. The government of Saint Lucia continues to make strides in supporting local. This time around, the spotlight is being placed on local music and musicians as government seeks to provide the necessary tools to grow the niche. Following several projects conducted through the Basic Needs Trust Fund, where young Saint Lucians were trained in music, stage, and theater, there was no avenue for those young people to use their talents. The Saint Lucia Social Development Fund believes that the addition of a music recording studio would help provide not only employment, but other opportunities for young people. Neil Williams is the consultant on the project.
The Grows Lift, a music studio, is is being constructed within the Human Resource Development Center, with a small extension being added on to house a control room and a recording, a live room, control and live room, where the recordings will take place. It will be outfitted completely with soundproofing insulation, right, and meet the needs of a facility of that standard.
The Minister for Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, Honorable Leonard Montoute, welcomed the recording studio, explaining that it would help offset some of the producing costs. He assured that the services will be offered below market price. The studio is expected to be completed within a 6-month period, and upon completion will be outfitted with quality equipment so as to offer the best production value. The project is being constructed to the tune of $350,000 and is being funded by the government of Saint Lucia, which will contribute 5% of the cost, and the Caribbean Development Bank through the Basic Needs Trust Fund, which will contribute 95% of the cost.
And so I think that will do a lot for the industry and will go a long way in encouraging more artisans to get more involved in their craft and to be able to get their productions out. I think this facility being housed at the Grosley Human Resource Center is quite appropriate in the sense that we have a theater here. So apart from producing the sounds, the production itself is performing, then we have a facility for that as well. So that goes a long way, I believe, in terms of enhancing opportunities in the area of the creative industries. And I'm hoping that especially residents of the North, and particularly of the Grosley constituency, will take full advantage of those opportunities. It is my intention to engage the musicians from the area, to have dialogue with them in terms of exactly how we are going to go about utilizing this facility, how it is going to be made available to them, what are their desires, their wishes, their ambitions for it, so they will have a say. And while it will be managed predominantly by the management committee, but there will be subcommittees where they will have some input as far as how business will be conducted at this center.
And that was the Minister for Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, Honorable Leonard Montoute. And this is the NTN Nightly. We'll be right back.
I was in my neighborhood. It was a very dark night and I decided to go for a drink by a bar. On my way from the bar, I felt the sting to my right leg. And when I looked back, I knew it was a full-less snake.
You happen to be in an area where there are snakes and you are bitten by a snake. This is what you do. You call for help and try to reach the Victoria Hospital within 1 or 3 hours. You will be seen immediately.
My uncle at the time was a police officer, called Victoria Hospital and told them that we're coming down for snake bite.
It is the only facility on the island which has a protocol and a treatment plan where you can be treated adequately.
We call them before you go there so they can prepare for you.
And rest assured that there are adequate supplies of antivenom with doctors who have been trained in the treatment protocols of the snake bite.
Welcome back. And here's a look at what's happening to us weather-wise.
Fair, hazy and breezy, becoming cloudy at times with a few scattered showers. The Atlantic high-pressure system will continue to generate brisk easterly winds and rough seas around the eastern Caribbean during the next 24 hours. Low-level moisture and instability enhanced by an upper-level jet stream will trigger some showers over the region during the forecast period. The tide for Castries Harbour was low at 2:19 p.m. and will be high again at 8:41 p.m. The tide for Vieux-Fort Bay was low at 3:46 p.m. and will be high again at 9:48 p.m. The seas moderate to locally rough with waves and northeasterly swells 5 to 8 feet or 1.5 to 2.4 meters. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution due to brisk winds and rough seas. The sun will rise Friday at 6:31 a.m.
And that brings us to the end of the NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the Saint Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I'm Nisha Charles.